All right, think about this concept. So the end goal just facilitates the journey, which is the main focus and way you wish to live your life. So just think about it in this terms, right? So let's just say if you want a six-pack ab, the body of your dreams, right? That is the end result. You want to look good, you want to feel good, you want to look good to the opposite sex, whatever, right? But the internal journey and what will facilitate the end goal is building your discipline over your mind. So by going to the gym every day, you will get that. So if you wanted to have a six pack, for example, and you just focused on that, now it will come to a point where you like are done with your diet. You are sick and tired of it. You just want to have like cookies and pizza from like the next week, for example, then fucks your whole diet up. And because that end goal is attached to like a very fickle thing, right? Whereas if you just change it so that your internal journey is all about building discipline, now you like if you were to like think about having pizza and cookies and stuff like that, because you're training your mind rather than your body to be more disciplined when these situations arise, you're more likely to resist the pizza, the more likely to resist the cookies, and instead stay on your fitness journey and get to a point where you actually arrive at the end goal much sooner than if you just focused on the end goal. You can go for that six pack, but it's very hollow because like a couple of bad meals will kind of like bloat you out and you won't see it anymore. Whereas if you're building discipline over your mind, you know you constantly have that strength internally to always get to where you want to get to, because you're just kind of constantly going to put in the effort, eat the right things, and just live your life in that kind of way, right? The same thing with wealth. So obviously you want to get money so you can look good to other people, you can feel good, you can buy more things and stuff like that, right? But the internal journey, that's the end result, the wealth, the status and the power that comes with it. But the internal journey could be just because you enjoy living life on your terms, having that freedom to wake up whenever you like, to play with your kids whenever you like, to not ask anyone for a holiday, all these different things, right? Now that is more of an internal driver than the fancy wash, the fancy car, the fancy house. Just to be like, people come over and like, oh wow, that's a nice house, stuff like that, and then they just carry on with their lives. Do you know what I mean? That is more of a better thing to focus on rather than the end result. So think about what you can do in terms of whatever it is for your life, right? Because the end goal itself doesn't actually matter that much. Even if it's big and you never actually hit it, what you're always going to be doing is fulfilling that internal journey, and that never ends. So what is it that something you can do to constantly be training yourself in some department internally, and by doing so you get the end result, like I said, with the six pack and the wealth, right? The journey and the path it creates is the real prize, because day-to-day living, you existing that kind of life constantly, daily, on a daily basis, you constantly go to bed feeling good about yourself. You constantly wake up, you can't wait to work on projects that you're working on or do the things you're doing that day, because you set up a life in this aspect. Where if you set up a life for the wealth or the results at the end, you get it, and then one day you got it, and then you're just like, okay, I've got it now, I can just fall back off. It's like getting to the mountain and then you get to the top, you're like, oh, this is brilliant, all right, now go back down the mountain. Whereas this never-ending mountain journey, you go up it and you're just constantly looking around, constantly getting higher and higher, constantly feeling better about yourself, and then you know you end up dying one day, and you're just like still looking around and on your last days thinking how good this was. Whereas if you just think of the goal, the end goal, and you get there, you're like, all right, I've got there now. And then like look at the for example, professional bodybuilders, they get to a point and then they have reached this pinnacle, they win like bodybuilding competitions, and then they're like, all right, pig out now, and then they just bloat. Or like MMA fighters, they just bloat, and then they just look way less than they would have had they just continued the discipline of the training, of the eating right, of the like mental discipline, right? So now I've got two very expensive props that I bought for this video specifically, and it is to illustrate this entire point, right? So I'm gonna put my notes here, hold on. So to live a life that is linked as closely to the things you value as possible, that is the key in this whole thing. Now let me get these two props. Is these two biros here. I spent a lot of money on this, so watch out. So what you value is up here. What you actually spend your time doing is this pen right here, okay? Maybe I should get different color pens. Now you got it. The valuing is at the top, and the things you actually do with your time here is here. The closer you spend these two lines, the more fulfilled you are most of the time. When these lines are separated, that's when you feel unfulfilled, depressed, and shit about your life. So you could start off here, that's great, and then the pens go their separate ways, but then over time you learn what you value, and that just stays constant, so it stays at the top of the screen, right? However, your actions will constantly fluctuate. So you have that, mental discipline to go to the gym. So you're like doing it, and you come home, you eat chicken breast and broccoli and rice. That's fantastic. And then the weekend comes around, and your boys tell you, "Oh, I want to go drink now." So you go out with them, you bitch out, and you tell them you don't have the self-respect enough to say, "Oh, I don't want to do this anymore," or "I don't want to live this type of life anymore." So your values are here, but all of a sudden your actions are here, and then you wake up the next day hungover and you feel like shit because you've ruined your diet, you've ruined your gains for that week. You've had alcohol, you've had unhealthy kebab and food and shit like that. So you feel shit basically. But then the next week comes around, next Friday comes around, so you've done it for another week again. You'll feel back up because you're just like constantly going back and forth between them. But you get to a point where you just become self-disciplined enough that you just constantly live your life in a way that is aligned with your values. And then from there, I'm gonna put these two expensive props away now. From there, you feel happy, you feel content, you feel like your life is going places, you are enjoying the journey constantly because this is now your life. And that's where you want to get to. So give you a little insight into my life, right? So I wake up, if I'm doing my work, if I need to go to work, I go to work for that day. If it's a weekend, for example, this is what I would do, and this is what I want to spend my days doing once I become financially independent. Wake up, do some recording for the videos, have my coffee and stuff, do some recording for the videos. Then I'll pay my son, go have some lunch. My son then goes to sleep because he's like 8 months old right now. And then when he wakes up, I give him his lunch, I make him his lunch, I give it to him, and I go out for a bike ride for 2 hours every single day, which is what I have been doing recently. And we explore our area because I live in like a nice country area, loads of country roads and stuff to explore, so that's cool. And then I come home and he usually sleeps towards the end of that as well, so I give him a bottle of milk before he goes to bed, let him sleep, and then he wakes up like 4 or 5ish, and then we just maybe watch something together, or we go for a little walk around our development, stuff like that. And then it's bedtime for him, and then I go off and read more content that I can learn more, so I can apply for these videos, that I can apply to these videos and such things like that. I journal, I meditate, I do these different things when he's gone to bed, so I have the mental clarity to do so. And during his awake hours, we're kind of playing with him and interacting with him and stuff like that. So imagine a life, if I could do that every single day, I would just feel fulfilled constantly because I'm constantly doing what I want to do, every single moment of every single day. Whereas what most people do, and what I've definitely done in the past is, so that's my goal life, right? But what I'd actually do is wake up and have a sugary breakfast, like cereal. Then I'll feel fatigued and I'll feel like not doing anything. So I put a movie on and I just veg out in front of the movie while he's crying in front of me because he wants my attention, wants to be played with. Then I would put him down to sleep or whatever. And then I'd go and do something else, or go watch something else, or just play on my phone and scroll on my phone, right? And then he wakes up and then I'm doing the same thing after that, and I eat an unnutritious meal and stuff like that. I don't work out for the day. All these different things that are separating those two lines that we spoke about earlier. So the closer these two lines can get, you've become way more aligned with your values, and you just live a happier, contenter, more fulfilling life. And that's where you want to get to. The truth is, this stuff is not taught to you. You're taught that through social conditioning that, oh, I should just play on my phone because everyone else does that. I should just watch this movie because everyone else is doing that. I should watch that football game. I should go to the pub. I should drink with the boys. Oh, the boys are going out now, so I can't stop them. I can't not be that guy who doesn't do stuff. I got to go, otherwise they won't invite me. All this different type of shit, right? But you actually, if you do that constantly all the time, a lot of people have less respect for you. If you have more of a disciplined life, you can actually inspire the people around you, and they'll be like, how did you get this? How did you do that? Can you teach me? And stuff like that. And when they start seeing the material stuff, that's when they'll come to you and be like, what did you do to get this? How can I do that? And X, Y, and Z, you see? But you wouldn't know this because the masses, this is what the masses do. But I'm here now, I've got you, your daddy's here. So subscribe to my stuff, comment on my stuff, like my stuff, and follow this journey, and I'll teach you all these little pitfalls and ways of thinking that you've never even thought about before, and it'll hopefully unlock some things in your mind that you just yes, okay, this is something I can implement for my mind now, because it's a much fulfilling existence when you live that way rather than the shit way where those two lines are separated. But yeah, I'll leave it there. I hope that helps. Hope that reached the right person today, and I'll catch you in the next video.